Hello and welcome to Grocery Pod. My name is Sean Kasednar. This week, in honor of Get to Know Your Customers Day, I'm talking with Pat Kerwin from Bowie Foods. Before we get to Pat, I want to remind you to please subscribe to Grocery Pod. Subscribing means new episodes will be downloaded for you each week. You can find Grocery Pod on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform you use. So, Pat, thanks for joining me today.
Well, not a problem at all, Sean. Honored to be here.
And so just tell me a little bit about Bowie Foods and the community that it's in.
Okay, so Bowie Foods, Oklahoma, we actually work with two local communities are in our area, Chamberlain, South Dakota, and Oklahoma, South Dakota, or well, in the surrounding area, but right nestled along the Missouri River.
Oh, wow. So can you tell me a little bit about the customers that come in and out of the store?
Well, so we have my particular store, we're impacted a lot by tourism through the state of South Dakota that are traveling to see Mount Rushmore or going to Wyoming, Montana, different sites out that way. We're right along the interstate too. And so we get a lot of travelers that come through. We're a very rural community. So we're impacted heavily by the agricultural industry too as well.
That's super interesting. So we're going to tackle some of these things separately, because I imagine that catering to tourists is a lot different than catering to your local customers. Is that right?
It is. We have a lot of the travelers we have to cater to their needs. We have a lot of campers in the area, which is a really popular hobby anymore. Some of our things are a lot of grab and go items. A lot of people are here for hunting and fishing. So we have a assortment of sporting goods intermixed into our store as well.
Oh, wow. So truly a one-stop shop for people coming in.
Yes. And actually in our building, we actually have a full service restaurant and a really nice gift shop that is located on this facility. So we actually do. We have a lot of people like buses. We have several buses that stop by that we accommodate. So you just never know. Every day is different.
And so how did your customers factor into decisions that you make for the store? Was things like restaurant, gift shop, like all of that stuff, was that there from the start? Or was that something that was added because you saw what kind of people were coming through and what they needed?
Okay, well, so a little history about the facility that I work in is people around the area know it as Al's Oasis. It's been around since 1912, I believe, or 1919. 1919, I believe. Was founded by a local family, and it started off as a little restaurant that turned into a grocery store. Then it spread and spread and spread. RF Bowie took over the premise 2 years ago. So we took over the business and did total remodel. So some of those factors were already here, but we've just improved a lot of the facility and a lot of the services that we offer with newer technology, just different types of mindsets with our customer relations. We've worked constantly to improve our community service efforts, something we're very dedicated towards.
That's really great to hear. Let's talk about that different consumer mindset or customer service mindset, excuse me. Talk to me about that and what that entails.
Well, a lot of it, a lot of people, a lot of stores, a lot of businesses, they have they'll have their core values and stuff that you'll see the placards on the wall and stuff. And a lot of businesses really nice that they do have those. With us, one of the things that RF is very consistent with is we try to drive those core values down into the individual employee. And we try to live by those core values. We believe in those, and we try to treat our internal customers exactly the same as we treat our external customers. And we just live and breathe those core values.
What are some of those core values?
Well, so our core values is to be the best in customer service at every level, to be adaptable, It's an ever-changing world, and as all the grocers know, it is changing constantly. To be growth-orientated, and the biggest one is to do the right thing. Don't worry about being right. Do the right thing by the customer and the company.
Talk to me about what it's like serving the local customers as opposed to the tourists. What are some of the things that they're looking for, and what is your store done to provide that for them?
Well, some of the things that, nowadays we deal with so much of this, we have so much competition digitally, online shopping. We actually we're one of the first, we were one of the first independent grocers to accept online WIC payment and EBT payments on our online shopping platform, which is huge for us. We started that right while the pandemic was still going. And that's really kind of groundbreaking territory in as rural areas we're at. We try to focus on having fresh produce, fresh meat. We serve only certified Angus beef. I try to buy a lot of my produce during the summer. We focus a lot on our colonies. So the produce that we're bringing in is actually from a field within an hour away.
Oh, wow.
So it's actually super fresh.
And not only that, you're also helping support your community. You're supporting some of the people that might be actually shopping in your store as well.
Correct. And then we do a lot of work with the food pantries locally so that we give back to the community. We're always doing that. We're very conscious of that. And then I actually serve on the local chamber on the board of directors. And I did that. My first 3-year stint was done last month, and then I renewed my term this week to try to be part and active in the community. So we try to be active in every single event that is going on locally, because there's always school organizations, churches, all kinds of different things going on in the community.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to you specifically, because on this show, like, I'm always talking about, try to become part of the community. The more that you can do actually in the community, the more loyal, like, the people there are going to be to your store. How have you noticed that, just like being involved so heavily in the community as you are, how have you noticed that that's helped you run the store?
Well, actually, it makes it a lot easier because, people around this area in rural towns and communities, people, they embrace their local businesses. They're very diehard towards that, because without one another, none of us could exist. And I'm talking about all our local businesses. And so we have to support our community. And a lot of my customers are coming in. They're always saying, thank you for what you did for my kid, my grandson, whatever, cousin. It doesn't matter. But impacting those people has a long impact with our day-to-day business.
What does good customer, you've kind of answered this a little bit, but can you get a little bit more specific about, like, what good customer service looks like in your store?
In our store, we have a standard rule we call a GUEST, which is an acronym for we greet every customer as they come in the door. We make eye contact, we smile, and we say thank you. It's simple, but I always look at my customers coming in as if they were my family. And that's what I try to drill down into my staff, is you never know what happened to that person right before they walked in the door. Let's try to make this the best part of their day. Let's help them get their stuff, answer their questions, and get them down the road safe.
I think that's great. How has it been getting the staff to buy into that?
Well, when we took over the store, we took over the store about 3.5 years ago, and we had to recreate a welcoming environment and have the staff embrace that and be proud of it, to be proud of what they do. They're not just, we're not just here to scan your groceries out, carry them out, whatnot. We're taking care of people's needs. This is for their meals at home. It's a service we provide. And I've been drilling that down into them for a long time, that what you do matters. Every single thing we do matters.
I think that's a really good point, and something that I think is probably often overlooked is that like the service that grocery stores provide does matter, and getting people, whether that's the customer, whether that's the employee, getting everyone to really buy into that and think about that is important, and that's what kind of makes stores like yours so successful. Pat, what else if you had one thing to pass along to Grocery Pod listeners about customer service and and the importance of knowing who your customers are, what would you have to tell them?
Well, I would say simply this, Sean. Especially in today's world, we fight so many factors. There's some things that are totally out of our control. Inflation, online shopping. I mean, we're fighting the internet. We're fighting all these things. But one thing we can control, and I think right now, and I think you'd agree, that customer service is probably at an all-time low in my life, that what I've seen ever since the pandemic. It's one thing we can control, and it's one thing we can make a difference to customers. We can't control pricing. That it's going up, it's going down, whatever. But we can control how we treat our customers and how we value them. That's something that can differentiate you from any other store. And then I think that's something that we hang our hat on and we're very proud of.
No, I think that's perfect advice and a great spot to leave it. Thanks for joining me today, Pat.
Not a problem. Enjoyed it very much, Sean.
And thank you all for listening. Again, please like and subscribe to Grocery Pod so you can automatically hear all the latest things going on around AWG. And until next time, this has been Sean Kasednar for Grocery Pod.